from being out for so long. For a while, I was just asking so much about teams, and and trying to figure out what was the next move and what was the next situation. And I just got to the point to where it was like, I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm just, whenever somebody calls, they'll call me, and I'm just gonna keep my head down and keep working. So it wasn't really too much dialogue for me. Since I've been here, though, they just want me to shoot the ball at a high level.
He's back. And just like that, J.R. Smith is back in our lives. Things are looking up, folks. This is fantastic. Hello, sports card collectors and investors. Thanks for joining up. I thought that'd be funny just to kind of put some J.R. Smith in there to start it off. But this video is not about J.R. Smith. It's going to be about his new teammate, Anthony Davis. And we're going to talk about some of his rookie cards, some of his second-year options. And then also I want to talk about just kind of more budget-friendly type options. If you're looking to get into Anthony Davis right now, to say there's lots of amazing bargain deals would be, I think that would probably not be the truth. And so, what I'm going to do is try to kind of find some value for you there at the end. And we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. If it's your first time here, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like what you hear. We have daily sports card investing and collecting videos, collectibles investing in general, that we put out every single day. So if you want some consistent content, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, and help us out with the algorithm a little bit. And we will go ahead and get started. Thanks very much. All right, Anthony Davis, it's his first year in LA, and he has made a splash. He and LeBron have hooked up to really form a formidable duo in LA. I mean, they have a lot of competition in the West, and honestly, there's good teams in the East too, but the Lakers look really strong. It's shocking just with LeBron's age that he hasn't slowed down at all. He was coming off last year where he had, some injuries. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure. Maybe I just, was lame and wasn't a believer, but I thought LeBron could possibly take a step back after last season, and that just was not the case at all. He came back with a vengeance this season. He's been fantastic, and the Lakers are one of those front runners. And Anthony Davis looks to have a pretty bright future in LA if he can stay healthy. I think that's the main thing with all of these guys, obviously, but AD's had some injuries. And so, he is somebody, though, that, he could have a Hall of Fame career if he wins a championship this year, maybe next. If the Lakers keep on kind of building and he's there beyond LeBron, there's no telling. The sky's the limit for his career. So with that said, his rookie cards have shot up in price. For me, it's one of those things where I'm just too late to the game for AD rookies. If you look at his 2012 Prizm, it was really 6 to 9 months ago is probably the time, or back further, to buy those. Now they've just reached such a point because they're being talked about so much. He's just playing so well on a great team. Sports cards have hit all-time highs as far as popularity. If we look at his 2012 Prizm rookie card, his base, his PSA 10 is anywhere from 1,376 to $1,447 lately here. The pop for it is 1,060. So it's a fairly low pop, considering the demand. And the print runs back then just weren't the same as they were now. So there is a lot of value for these players that were rookies. When we talk about Giannis rookies in 13, the pop reports are they're a lot different than pop reports are now. So, if you're looking at the pricing, you really have to take that into account. Now, the PSA 9 for AD's Prizm rookie sells anywhere from $580 to $600. The pop for that one is $414. And now, if you look at, just to kind of give you an idea of where pricing has gone for these, and I feel like if I buy one now, I'm just kind of chasing, because if we look at 90 days ago, so the very beginning of April, the PSA 10, which I said was selling about $1,400, was selling consistently at $585 to $600. And the PSA 9, which is now at $580 to $600, was selling at $205 to $219. So prices have tripled over the last 90 days for the PSA 9, and then they've a little bit more than doubled for the PSA 10. So the value that, I mean, to me, just from a budget standpoint, I mean, the value is really that PSA 9. And that's why I talk about, I really like buying into 9s, because putting up big numbers for those PSA 10s, sure, it's a lot of times it pays off, or it can pay off, but there's still, if you look at that PSA 9 where it's gone the last 90 days, the PSA 9 has increased more than the PSA 10 for the AD rookie, which most people wouldn't think that. They would think like, oh, I've got to get PSA 10s, and that's not necessarily the case. Same goes for raw cards. There's a lot of opportunity in raw cards where you can buy at a lower price and move them for more than what you might be able to move them for one of those high dollar cards. Now, granted, of course, if it's a PSA 10, you have that ability to sell it. It's just more money, I guess, on that sale. Whereas you have to dink and dunk a little bit with the raw, with the PSA 9, you have to buy more of them. So it's just all whatever your preference is. But to help to diversify, I like to go with raw and PSA 9s. I do have quite a bit of PSA 10, but it's kind of nice to diversify for sure. This is another one, and I did a video earlier today on Kawhi Leonard, and the other set is the 2012 Select Hot Rookies set. Because I was looking at Select, because again, that's an up and coming set. For rookie cards, they've got this Hot Rookies kind of subset, and there's just not any of these out there. The pops are so low. I was looking at a PSA 10 for AD. For the 2012 Select Hot Rookies, last sold on eBay at the end of April for $139 PSA 10. So the pricing, just based on the fact that was at the end of April, that pricing would be higher if it was on the market currently. And to give you an idea, kind of proof of that, a PSA 9 sold at the end of June on June 27th for $120.99. So the 9 almost sold for how much the 10 sold for at the end of April, to give you kind of an idea of where that price is. But they just aren't out there. So that's one card I'll be looking for. As they do pop up on eBay, they're not common. That 2012 Select Hot Rookie set, but there's also a couple of variants too that I would keep an eye out for those. I mean, they're a little bit more obscure, but if you just catch that auction at the right time on eBay, with the Kawhi cards, I looked at it, I was kicking myself because the same deal, 2012 Select Hot Rookies. There was a couple that sold on July 5th, which was yesterday, for $150. So there are those deals, there are those bargains that are out there. It's just you got to catch them. Maybe add it to your eBay saved searches so it pops up in your email. But it's just tricky. It's tough to kind of keep track of everybody's rookie card and make sure and try to grab those deals. So. The second year cards for AD were all over the place. I mean, I looked at, like, there's a 2013 Prizm. Now, this was a silver Prizm, and it had just sold yesterday for $712. Population, again, very, very low on these. And then there was just a wide variety of pricing. If you were looking at red, white, and blue, or, base, so it was kind of all over the place. And so I would just say there could be some values there just because pricing was all over the place. I'm certainly going to keep an eye on those second year AD cards. Some people are not into second year or anything outside of rookie cards, and that's perfectly fine. But with the hobby expanding, there has been a lot of demand for insert cards for second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. And it's not just in with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. It's with a lot of players, and you can kind of see a trickle down effect from those guys and their cards and what that's had, what kind of effect that's had. Now with Anthony Davis, where are the values? Where can you get in on this guy? And this is exactly the same strategy that I have with Kawhi Leonard and some of the other players, is first year jerseys with that team. So like with Kawhi, I want stuff where he's in a Clippers uniform, especially if they win the championship. Those are the things, and the reason why I have that thought process is because of LeBron. Last year's LeBron optic stuff in a Lakers jersey is through the roof, the pricing is. So to me, that's kind of, if I'm looking at all the other players, LeBron represents that best case scenario for me as I'm running searches. And so, but look, there's a lot of undervalued players. There's Kawhi, there's AD, there's Steph Curry is a guy that's kind of forgotten about because he hasn't been on the floor, he hasn't been playing. Granted, nobody's been playing, But again, it's just these guys, Klay Thompson. Nobody's paying attention to these guys, and their cards and these inserts are dirt cheap, a lot of them. Now, granted, I'm buying a lot of raw. I'm not, some of them are graded, but for the most part, I just like, there's a lot of value in the raw for me for those cards. And again, if you check the pricing on a lot of them, it's very, very reasonable for people that are just trying to get in, trying to kind of build something, and get in on a player. Whereas if you're looking at these rookie cards, if you don't have $1,500 to drop on a PSA 10 AD, I certainly don't. And I just don't want to go chasing at this point. Do I think that AD card can go up past $1,500? Absolutely. I think that it can. But for me, it's just too high of a price point. I've only got so many resources. So putting all, that much capital into one card, it's the opportunity cost for me. And maybe that's part of the collector in me, to where it's like, I'd rather have, $50, $20 cards than that $1,000 card, so I can kind of diversify and move things around. And I've had some people call me out and say like, hey, you know what? You could buy some of the bigger cards if you didn't buy so much of these smaller cards. And I get that. But I just like to I like to be diversified, and then kind of work up to some of those larger cards where I see that there might be some value. With AD's Prizm rookie, I just think that I'm chasing at this point for that PSA 10, and the PSA 9 is even at all-time highs. So, but let me know what you guys think. I want to hear, are you going in on AD now? I mean, I do believe that AD's cards are going to continue to rise. So that's not my issue. It's more of just, how much is it going to rise? And, do I want to kind of tie up that much capital in that card? If it's going to go from 1,500 to 2,000, and then seller fees and everything else, is that worth it for me? I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. If it went from 1,500 to $5,000, then yeah, that would be worth it. But I'm just not quite sure if I'm ready to go in on it quite yet. But I want to hear your feedback. Tell me what you think, guys. Is AD the real deal, or is it just because LeBron is there? I hear a lot of comments too about AD never got anything done in New Orleans, and he's not a clutch player, and he's not big time. And it's now that he's with LeBron in LA, now he's making something happen. Whereas like a Kawhi Leonard, he makes stuff happen. He makes his teammates better around him. I want to hear what you guys think. Let's talk some basketball. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let me know in the comments. And thank you again for stopping by. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We would appreciate it. And we will keep the videos coming. Have a great night, guys.